Hi, welcome back or welcome into my world. I'm Angela. I am a relationship mentor for midlife women, and I guide midlife mystics in the art of intentional reality creation. And we do this through identity, awareness, and embodiment. This is where we stop seeking and we start remembering, because the truth is, the version of you who's already aligned, powerful, and whole already exists. It's not out there. It's not something we have to strive to become or figure out with our mind. Today's transmission is about aligned action, but not from the mind, from the authentic self, from the place that already knows that you are source in motion. Most of us were taught to act from the mind, right? From thought loops, from people pleasing, from performance. And that's what happens when we are over identified with this person, with the body, with the persona. Even our healing can become another project for the mind to manage. But that's not ultimate truth. Ultimate truth is you are not your mind. You are not your thoughts. You are not your trauma story. You are infinite intelligence having an experience of separation through your human body, not as your human body. And this changes everything. When you stop trying to fix the human from the perspective of the human and start moving from the awareness that you are source living through her, that's when alignment truly clicks into place. And it takes a little bit of practice. At first, you feel like you're not doing enough, but that's actually where the magic is. The magic is in the awareness. This is why most action feels unaligned, because when action comes from the mind, from the lower mind, it is rooted in survival. That what if, lack, and old paradigms start to run their programs, and it feels forced. This is why it feels forced. This is why you feel burnt out, why you backslide or self-sabotage. Because the part of you that's taking action doesn't believe in who you really are. We think we're limited. We think we're this human self with these experiences, and that we're limited to the things that we've experienced in the past, or that we're limited to the transcendence or the transformation that this human self is capable of. But it's not our human self. It's not our lower mind. It's not the ego mind identity that is running the show. That's not what manifests anything in the first place. It's source, it's creation energy, that life force energy that flows through you. And so when we act from this awareness, from our authentic self, we stop reacting from our past, and we start responding to the truth. No more proving, no more performance, only presence. And this seems counterproductive at first, but let's make this real. Our trauma is only real from the perspective of the lower mind. Our stories are only real from the perspective of the lower mind. But you are not the lower mind. You are awareness, watching, witnessing, and choosing. And the more you remember this, the less you need to fix. Because true alignment doesn't mean doing more. It doesn't come from our actions. It comes from being differently. It comes from who we are being when we take action. And so I invite you to ask yourself, who am I being as I choose this? Am I moving from fear or from the frequency of my truth? The I am. I am infinite intelligence that runs in the background when you silence the ego mind. What would my most authentic aligned self do right now? Meaning the person, the awareness that I am, when I just allow source to move through me, when I silence the mind, when I get the mind out of the way. Now that doesn't mean it goes away entirely. It comes back. That's the work, right? That's the only work. Is we don't have to force it to be positive. We don't have to make it quiet. We just have to know that it's the lower mind and that it's just trying to protect us. It's repeating a story and that it's not the truth of who we are. And when you get to that point where you know, even though the mind is talking, that that's not your truth, that pause, that inquiry, that separation from the ego mind, that's the shift. That's the portal back to true alignment. Because alignment is a frequency, and we say that word frequency, and I don't feel like we really understand what it means. The frequency is just the beingness. It's when you're in pure awareness without the ego mind, without the identity being involved. And it's not just about the actions that we take in life. It's about where the action comes from, who the action comes from. And so it's not you, the one with your name, the body, the physical self. It is the higher self. And so the thing is, when we do the same things, it doesn't matter. We could do something from the lower mind, and we wind up getting burnt out, even if we do get some results. Sometimes we get results and then they disappear and they're not consistent, or we still always feel like we don't have enough. Or we can then come from the awareness of the authentic self, the I am presence, the source presence, and we can feel peace and purpose and power. Come from fulfillment rather than desire. The knowing that you are all things. And this is where the magic starts. So I'm going to give you a simple practice like I always do, because these simple practices help us get out of the lower mind. And so the practice is this. Before you act, pause. Drop down into the body. Breathe. Feel the truth of who you are. Allow source to move through you. Allow the higher mind to take over. And then choose. And then move. And then speak from this place. Not from the lower mind. Not from the ego identity. From the wounds. From the history, the stories. The limitation. But from the wisdom. From the knowing that I am. I always have been and I always will be. And so you don't need to earn alignment or work to line up with it. You are already aligned. You just have to get the ego mind out of the way. Because you already are alignment when you stop believing that you're anything less than infinite intelligence, divine presence. And so then it becomes, there's nothing to fix. I'm not behind. I'm not the problem. There is no problem here. I'm the infinite, having a sacred human experience. And when we remember that, every action becomes holy. And that's the practice, moving back to that awareness all the time. It might be 50 times a day at first, but eventually it becomes second nature, and you don't have to think about it so much. You don't But that's the key, right? The awareness of it. Living your life in the present moment, in the awareness that I am. So today, let your actions rise, not from the lower mind, but from the I am, from awareness, from the authentic self. Because she already knows. She already has all the answers. You already have it all. And the whole journey may not be available to you in your human understanding, but the higher mind will direct you every step of the way, as long as you are willing to get the ego mind identity out of the way. So if this transmission landed for you, I'd love for you to just take a moment and ask yourself, what is one aligned action I can take today from my authentic self? Get into the place where you know that I am, that witness, the observer. And then act on joy, on your greatest joy from right there in that moment. Not from need, not from lack, but from I am already whole. Now, what would I like to do? Drop it in the comments and let us witness you. And if you're ready to go deeper, or you'd like to follow along with this set of videos that I'm doing, there's a 90-day Mastery of Self guide where each title of each video is there in order, and you can just click on them and go right to the videos. Until next time, walk slowly, choose consciously, and keep living from that sacred center. The more you practice it, the more it becomes natural, and the less it feels strange, and the less it feels like work, and the more you really start to step into your true power. Because you are the one that you've been waiting for. And she's already there. She's just on a higher level of understanding that's above the human mind, above the ego identity. And so when we can rise above that ego identity, that persona, that person that is limited and lack and limited by the 3D world, that's when we really can step into our power, where we allow the ego mind identity, the self, the person, to come along for the ride. But now she sits in the back seat and she quietly waves out the window. She's not allowed to control the radio. She's not allowed to give directions. And it's not something you have to strive for. It's something you already are. And once you can get out of your own way, that's when the magic really opens up. That's when life starts to become really fun. That's when things start to open up and you don't have to effort or strive or force or convince. I'll see you soon. Take care.